When this lens came out, it was a shock. We've had the 24-70. We've had the 24-105 f4. But this blends the gap, but you pay the price. Look at the change in size, and it's also more expensive. Is it worth it, and which one of these am I going to pick? I'll tell you at the end. On the surface, this lens sounds like the best lens that's ever come out, and it is going to be the perfect basketball lens. That was my frame of thinking. I rented this for the past week, and I rented it for a basketball event. So a lot of the footage you'll see throughout this video is going to be shot on this lens at an Under Armour basketball event. It's really all I used it for, alongside a construction gig that I shot this morning. The construction stuff will be the more photo examples, and then the basketball stuff will be the video examples. But I learned what I liked about this lens and what I didn't while I was on site working on an actual job, which, if you ask me, that's the way to figure it out, not just tinkering around with it in my apartment, because there's no real world application in that sense. There's some things that I figured out about this that I was like, huh, that's weird, or I just was like, never seen that before, that's crazy. And so I was looking at this lens, is it going to replace my 24-70 as the day-to-day king? This thing is on my camera 99% of the time. Starting out with what I like about this lens. I'm a positive guy, so I try to lead with the positive things about it. First of all, the thing that stood out is that the zoom on this lens is so unbelievably smooth. So with my thumb right here, zoom all the way in, all the way out, it's so smooth, it does not take much at all. A lot of times when I was filming, I had my thumb on the button, the focus button, and then I had my middle finger on the barrel, and I would just easily throw it, and it wasn't hard at all. Versus if I was filming with the 24-70, it takes more to zoom with this, and there's no focus button. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I need to really be on it to zoom, and it's not smooth. You can't do a smooth zoom with the 24-70. With the 24-105, easily, smoothly zoom. Other things I like, it is a 24-105, so you're getting 35 more millimeters, and then you're also getting the f2.8 versus the 24-105 f4. Obviously a lower aperture now, and so you're kind of combining the 24-105 and the 24-70 to get this thing. That's what everybody expected to like about it. And then I just briefly mentioned it, but the focus lock button was the best thing ever for filming basketball. This, especially when filming basketball, allows players to run in the foreground of you, and you can hold that button down so wherever the lens was focused, you hold it down and it stops focusing there. Whenever you let go, the autofocus restarts. That is really, really nice. The autofocus on this thing was very good. Now I know there's the new autofocus on the new Canon cameras where things can go in front of you and it'll still keep what's behind you, but sometimes I want it to switch to the foreground. So that's gonna be a weird feature that I'm curious about testing. But with this, having these buttons, I'm monitoring it on my monitor, zooming in, holding focus, and they would come in or pass the ball, I would release, go back to the other person. It was very, very nice to have that. Now, to be negative, what I don't like about this lens, it is so big. You see it right here next to the 24-70. It's pretty much twice the size. Now, weirdly enough, it's only a little bit heavier. They did a good job at making this lens big, but it's pretty light, which eases the blow a little bit, but it's a lot bigger. If we zoom all the way in on the 24-70, this is still very big. This has internal zoom, this has external zoom. You compare this thing to the size of a EF 70-200, 70-200, slightly bigger. But the catch with that is, if you are living in 2024 or whenever you're watching this, if you're using EF lens, you need a converter. The converter is currently on my Canon R5 using my 35mm lens, but think about it, you're adding this much right here, so at the end of the day, the practical size comparison is gonna be like this. So the 70 to 200 is still bigger, but without the converter, same size. This is a 24 to 105. This is a 70 to 200. This is a pain in the butt to carry around all the time. I don't want this to be the same. That is why I think the 24 to 70 still holds a chance. Which one am I deciding on between the 24 to 105 and the 24 to 70? We mentioned the differences. We mentioned the size. We mentioned how the zoom on this one is internal, this is external. This one zooms easier, this one a little more jittery. I will say, I would buy the 24 to 105 if I was buying a new lens tomorrow. If I didn't already own the RF 24 to 70, I would buy the 24 to 105. But at the same time, I will not be selling my 24 to 70 to buy the 24 to 105. I don't see a big enough difference, and honestly, I like the small form factor. While you get extra features with the 24 to 105, I don't think that it is totally worth it. If you are primarily a video shooter and you want to buy the servo attachment that is right here, you can buy the trigger. The servo attachment is pretty much screws in right here, and you can buy a trigger so it'll smoothly zoom in and out. That is very nice, but I personally will not be finding any kind of use for that. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed using this lens. I think that for me, it is nice to see somebody use a lens in a practical setting and not just tell you all the specs. So I hope that helped you, and subscribe if you're not already, because things are starting to grow over here. If you want to be early to the party, well, share this video, help me out a little bit, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.